All right, guys, welcome back to another interview on MMAUnhinged. Today, I'm joined by Mario Bautista, UFC bantamweight. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Feeling good. Back in the win column. Feeling good.
We were speaking off air, and I could sense the happiness coming through the screen. I presume that you're really happy with that performance.
Oh yeah, happy with the performance. Happy to get a win. It's been 2 years since I've won, so it feels pretty good.
Yeah, and it was a tough one. 15 minutes of work. You got the unanimous decision. What did you learn from this experience, and how valuable was the fight?
What I took from it is like how comfortable I felt in there. Even being having 2 years off, and or just coming off a loss and having such a long break between fights. So I I felt pretty comfortable in there, and that was the big thing I took away from it.
Your opponent Jay Perrin made his debut on short notice. When that your original opponent Khalid Taha fell out, did you think, oh no, yeah, surely not? How can my luck get any worse?
Yeah, I was like, I put it in my head, like, expect something to happen with everything going on in the world right now. Expect something to happen. But luckily, Jason House, my manager, he's really good about getting us fights and short notice fights. He got me into the UFC for a short notice fight, so I really trusted him, and it was coming down to the wire at the end there. So, but luckily, he got it done for us, and I'm glad he did.
And if I'm correct, you got it. Your opponent Jay Perrin had 2 weeks to prepare.
Uh, that's what I've been hearing, but it was Sunday when they told me that would be
Yeah,
my opponent. So I'm not too sure. Maybe Jason told him to kind of get ready, just in case, and maybe Sunday make it official before the fight. So I'm not sure how that worked out, but I do know he was getting ready for a fight for March 5th. So I think he was getting ready to defend the title he had out there. So I'm assuming that's why he was picked.
so you mentioned that you got told on a Sunday. So what was that? 6 days to prepare for your opponent. Did you know anything about Perrin heading into the fight, and what did you learn before that fight about him?
I didn't know too much. I feel like I seen him on the Contender Series a long time ago, but as soon as I watched the video Sunday on him, he was very similar. It was a very similar game plan that I was going to have originally for Khalid Taha anyway. So that was a nice part. It wasn't a big switch up where a tall, lengthy southpaw jiu-jitsu guy. So it wasn't a huge difference.
Yeah, in this fight, you threw multiple flying knees, and we've seen it in your previous fight that you love to throw it. It seems like you want it to land, but I feel like in this fight, uh, you really wanted it to land and get that KO with that flying knee.
Yeah, it was like he fights really low, kind of comes in, and I think I've had a little bit more time to get the timing down, a little bit more preparation, like specifically for him. Maybe I would have gone it, but on the same thing, like I've thrown it before, and so I'm sure his camp, uh, we're definitely looking out for it. I almost got him. I almost got that one of those knees there. So, but
Yeah,
on to
exactly. Some of
next.
them were close. Some of them were close. Grazed the chin. Was that something that you saw during that time to prepare for him?
Yeah, like I said, it was a very similar game plan. And against shorter fighters, I feel like I can find the timing on that a little bit easier than taller ones. And it's something I like. I like flying knees. It's flashy. Everyone has their little flashy things they do. Either it's like spinning heel kicks or whatever it is. And mine just happens to be flying knee. I really love those.
And if it lands, oh my gosh, that guarantees you 50K.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hopefully, especially if it's well, if they're back to back, I don't know. Maybe they're going to be like, "Hey, you need to come up with a different move. We're not going to keep giving you 50 G's for the same one."
Yeah, but in this fight, I think you really showed some really high level fight IQ. We talked about before we went on air. I feel like the clinch in this fight was really the difference maker. You were tearing him apart in that clinch. The knees, the elbows. As you mentioned, it was a kind of similar game plan, but I feel like that's where you really wanted to fight because you knew you were better.
Yeah, and I was prepared for anything, and we got through a bunch of different, scenarios in that fight, especially that first round. Went from stand up, he tried the takedown. I was pushing him against the cage, and as the longer the fight went on, I knew like he wasn't circling off the cage, and he would let me press him against there, and I pushed him against there, got my control, and started doing some damage there.
As you mentioned, it didn't circle around, so it kind of played in your favor. And we talked about as well, your elbow kind of hurt, so you were trying to switch the elbow.
Yeah, I was trying to switch the elbow, and I was just maybe he'll give me a takedown so I can start working on top. Um, but it was only hurting in the third round, and I knew there was only a little bit more time left, so uh, I was gonna keep throwing it until I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. And the fight did go the distance. 15 minutes of work. Is that how you saw the fight going before the fight?
Uh, uh, well, yeah, I knew he'd be tough. I knew he'd be there all 3 rounds. Obviously, you want to get in and out as quick as possible, but I knew he was going to be there. He's never been TKO'd. I think submitted once, so I knew the chances were slim. And like I said, I was ready for all 3 rounds, and a gamer that I knew he was going to be tough.
Yeah, you definitely he was tough. He was taking some of your shots, and especially inside, as I talked about, inside the clinch, he landed some lethal elbows. And now the fight is over, and it's gone. It's past us. Now you've probably had time to reflect on it. What's your evaluation on the fight and how it went down?
I was really happy with it. I got to showcase a lot in that fight. Everything from stand up to the clinch work to the takedowns. And wrestling defense. I know his game plan was to wrestle me up and grind me out. So I got to really turn that against him and showcase my skills and my cardio as well.
Yeah, I feel like this fight here against Jay Perrin was a very important fight for you. I could sense it with the urgency and the desire to win that you came with during the fight. Was that because you were coming off back of a loss and you felt more hunger?
Yeah, coming off a loss and having all that time off, you definitely and I'm 3-2 in the UFC now, so you don't want to be 2-3 in the UFC. So that was definitely a big thing, and I just exactly I wanted that win, and I came in there and I showed it.
What was the relief like when the fight was over? You got your hand raised, and as you mentioned, your first win in over 2 years.
Oh yeah, it was amazing, and to have it with those guys, David Michaud in my corner, who's been like I guess like a big brother, I should say, at our gym, and having Yaltsin Mesa with me, same thing. He's been there through my UFC wins, so winning with those guys, it was awesome. I'm glad those two were in my corner.
I presume going into this fight with that loss, and you had a lot of pressure on you. Did you relish under that pressure? And do you like it when you're under pressure, or do you want to be like, I don't really want that pressure. I want to be on like a 6-win streak.
You know, I I do have a little bit of pressure, but I always tend to do good after that. Coming off like my first loss, had a little bit of pressure to win that next one, and did that, beat Miles Johns, and I got on the new contract. So I took the fight with Trevin Jones, and I felt, no pressure. It's just a fight. End up losing that one, so maybe pressure is a good thing for me.
Yeah, 100%. I think one of the best performances up to date inside the UFC. We're going back to your original opponent, which was Khalid Zaha. Are you looking to maybe to get that one rescheduled? Would you like to run that one next, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, whoever, would run that camp again. It was, I'd be even better for that one. But who knows what's going on with him? They didn't even disclose why he pulled out. So maybe if he's healthy, we could get matched up again here pretty soon.
Now, I've seen in a recent interview and another interview that you've got some plenty names inside your mouth, but one that really popped out was Ronnie Lawrence. I think that's a fantastic matchup, and I think it's a good matchup that will entertain the fans. Definitely a fight of the night contender, and it hasn't even happened yet. What is it that stemmed from that matchup? Why would you like to fight Ronnie Lawrence, and how would that go down?
I just like the way he fights. He fights with his heart and he grinds and I love those type of fights where I get pushed to as far as I can, and to see how to test my will against someone like his. I think it'd be awesome for me, and I think it'd be like a big, a huge experience for me to fight in someone like that.
And you've been in big experiences before. I mean, you fought Corey Sanhagen, and as you talked about now, you fought in your last fight. You fought in a pay-per-view. So, do you believe you'll be ready for a type of matchup like Ronnie Lawrence?
Oh, definitely Ronnie Lawrence, and there's a few other guys out there. So yeah, I'm definitely ready. my next one will be my sixth UFC fight. So I'm ready to get those big names and start working my way up to the top.
And lastly, on the fight business, so we talked about you were a little bit unscathed on this. You're back in the gym already. You got a few bruising, your elbows a little bit mashed up. When would you like to, kind of get stepped back inside the octagon?
As soon as I can. I would like, at the very least, to have 3 fights this year. But I did fight early in the year, so possibly even every quarter, if I can, and if I come out healthy out of each of them. Ideally, though, and that's the biggest thing, is just to be. That's my big goal, just to be active this year.
So moving on from the fight business, but it's still kind of similar, related. What's your favorite, post-fight meal, and how would you like to celebrate?
I always think I want something like a burger, but I'll get halfway through that burger and just my stomach will start to hurt. So I know I tend to just eat a little bit healthier, and then these upcoming weeks, man, I don't know. It's just I'm gonna go get the biggest, nastiest burger that I can find and probably eat that for a few weeks. So that's the thing I'm looking for.
Yeah, what's your favorite sport outside of MMA?
You know what? I really don't watch too much sports. I mean, if you want to like break it down, I love watching jujitsu. I love watching like Muay Thai fights. I guess anything that has to do with fighting, boxing. I love boxing. But other than that, I'm not a big football guy, basketball guy, nothing like that. So it's all fighting for me.
Then we'll quickly touch up on boxing. Then, who is the heavyweight champion at the end of 2022, in your opinion?
Oh man, I think Fury. I think it's going to be very tough to beat Fury, I believe. So I have him there. I don't even know who would be matching up with him next.
Dillian White.
Dillian White, and there's someone else that just moved up into the heavyweight division.
Alexander Usyk.
Usyk. Oh my God! I think that'd be a good fight, but Fury's just a big guy compared to him, and but they both move well, so I think that'd be an interesting one if they can get that matched up.
I mean, Usyk just fought AJ, and they put on a clinic against him. It was the technicality, Usyk just boxed AJ. It wasn't even close, and Usyk versus Fury, technicality versus technicality. It's a tough matchup. I'd definitely like to see it go down, but as you mentioned, Fury's the bigger man, so it'll be hard to see Usyk, overcome that fight, should we say? So if you're not like a type of a sport guy, do you watch movies?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I watch some movies.
Go on then. Yes. So what's your top 3 movies of all time?
Oh man, well, there's fight week movies that I watch.
There we go.
I'll always start off with Troy, and I'll watch The Gladiator, and there's a few other ones that I watch, but usually those always get me pumped up for some reason for fight week. So I always like to watch those before my fights.
I had a similar when I interviewed someone else, they had a similar answer. He likes to watch like lion documentaries because he wants to get into the zone of him being a predator and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I whatever can get me into that gladiator mode, kind of like hero movie. That's the type of movies I like to watch.
Are you into Marvel and like fictional characters and maybe even like Tekken or stuff like that?
Yeah, I've watched actually most of the Marvel movies. I haven't watched the new ones on Disney Plus, like those smaller shows. Yeah, but I definitely watched those main ones.
Which fictional character or Marvel character has the best chance of being a UFC champion?
Oh, jeez. I would say probably the Captain America. Well spoken, has a whole nation behind him, so that'd probably be a pretty good one.
He can't use his shield though.
That's true, babe. But he has some superpowers. He got some little extra juice. You know what I mean?
Moving back to the UFC, I want to talk about Francis Ngannou. A lot of contract negotiations with him. As we talked about, you like boxing. So would you like to see Francis Ngannou switch over to boxing, or do you think that's not a good idea?
I think if he wants money, and maybe like one last fight, I think, the move over to boxing. But I think if you fight someone like Fury, I think it's going to be a pretty quick night for him. Quick night, or he's just going to get outclassed, I believe. So, but if he definitely wants money, I would look into boxing.
I do agree, and I feel like it's a bad move for Ngannou if he does go over to boxing. If you look over there, the top 5, top 10, possibly can. I don't want to underestimate Francis Ngannou, but the top 10 over in boxing potentially on the day could beat Francis Ngannou. It's a tough division over there.
Yeah, and those guys specifically train boxing. That's all they do. So to go for someone MMA to go over there and just box them, it's going to be pretty tough. And just like a regular fight, I'll go Francis all day. But if it's just boxing, it's hard to beat someone that's been doing it for years and that's all they practice.
I mean, with Francis Ngannou's last fight, surely he's got to go to the ADCCs.
ADCCs or try out for some wrestling Olympics, something, huh?
Honestly, it was a fantastic performance. I didn't really expect, the switch up, and it was incredible. But what a game plan it was! It was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool to see him switch it up. Grow and not just try to knock someone's head off. He was there on bottom, looking like he was trying to set up a triangle. So it's pretty cool that he has that mindset to continue to grow in all aspects.
Yeah, and it looked like you did it in this fight as well. And when you did it in this fight, you mixed up really well. You clinched him, tried to initiate the wrestling, and the striking looked good as ever. So what a fantastic win it was, Mario Bautista. Thank you for joining us on the show, and best of luck in your next fight.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.